The new year began with a barrage of back-to-back storms, and we're now in the clear. But what if the rain didn't stop? Due to our changing climate, the state's lead researchers say it's not a matter of if, but when California is hit by devastating floods and something referred to as a megaflood. So our meteorologists spent months asking what damage could a megaflood do, and are we prepared? Tonight, Carly Gomez closes out our week-long series with a look at the importance of flood insurance and what you need to know to protect yourself.
All of our tools were submerged underwater.
It looks like a bomb went off there.
Imagine the biggest storm you've ever been through.
He had to chainsaw his way out his front door.
Cold, hard rain has local creeks and rivers running high.
All this came underneath the doors.
What if the rain didn't stop?
A levee breaks. Now your neighborhood is taking on water.
In Sacramento region alone, there's over 514,000 people that are protected by these levees.
Studies suggest that Sacramento is actually one of the top 10 in the nation most at risk for flooding due to rivers.
The most intense atmospheric river storms are likely to become significantly more intense.
And certainly the spillway incident was one of those instances where we did not have time.
So, are we prepared? This is Megaflood.
One of the things that we say at FEMA is that all droughts are followed by floods.
Frank Manzel with FEMA Public Affairs says they prepare for catastrophic events like floods and try to get the word out to residents on how to prepare. Even with warnings, residents find themselves left wondering what to do.
I don't know how many disasters I've been at where people had no idea what insurance policies they had, bank account numbers, all that stuff that you take for granted as having, you will likely have it destroyed in a disaster.
So this begs the question, are we really prepared? Manzel works closely with experts with the National Flood Insurance Program. He says many people think they're covered with home insurance and find out the hard way.
Flooding can happen anywhere it rains. As I said, you can get street flooding. Levees are constantly under pressure. There's always water flowing past them, eroding at the base of the levee, and levees do overtop. And it's a nice system, but it's not foolproof, and it doesn't offer 100% protection.
According to FEMA, over 90% of flood insurance policies are covered by the NFIP. You can buy flood insurance through your current insurance company, who participates in a Write Your Own policy. The NFIP allows your insurance company to write and service government flood insurance using their own brand name. Premiums are assessed through flood maps.
After a community gets its flood maps, it also comes with a set of building standards for that community. And we assume that you, as a homeowner building after the flood maps are out, are going to build to that new standard. You paid what were called actuarial rates. Those are rates that really reflect the risk.
The National Flood Insurance Program has paid $72 billion in claims to about 2 million policyholders. That's according to a statement by David Marstad, Senior Executive of the National Flood Insurance Program, to the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs last year.
The largest caveat is that FEMA will not duplicate benefits. So if my home is damaged significantly from a flood, for instance, FEMA will pay you for everything your flood insurance doesn't cover, up to a total of about $35,000 to $40,000.
Private flood insurance is beginning to gain ground in sales as more tools and forecast for flood zones becomes available. Often, private insurance can cost a bit more, but can cover higher value homes.
Private flood insurance, they're usually higher, but not necessarily so. You can shop around and compare prices. You can also use private insurance to augment your national flood insurance program. So if you thought your structure was worth more than $250,000, you may want to look at a private insurer to cover the balance.
The biggest misconception about flood insurance in California is that you don't need it.
Sacramento is at the confluence of two rivers. Some studies suggest that Sacramento is actually one of the top 10 in the nation most at risk for flooding due to rivers.
Flood maps around Sacramento metro area shows the regions near rivers, lakes, dams, levees, and canals are definitely at risk. Take Natomas, Pocket, and South Sacramento, surrounded by major water sources. But it doesn't mean outlying areas are safe.
40% of our flood claims that we pay are for structures that are not in a flood zone.
John Kane with the State Water Resources Control Board continues to advocate for public education when it comes to our water channels.
Make sure you get flood insurance, even if you're protected by a levee, because that levee could fail. And having a community, not just a few homeowners, but the whole community of people to have flood insurance really helps the community build back from floods.
Those emergency to-go bags constantly mentioned in earthquake scenarios can also be used in floods.
Having a kit that's fully inclusive of everything that they may need, including personal medications, pet supplies, things like that, that can accommodate everybody within their family.
Levees and drainage canals like this one can be inundated with water in a mega flood. You and your family will need to be ready to evacuate in a moment's notice. There's also some extra things you may need for that emergency kit. That includes non-perishable food for at least 3 days, including water. You're also going to need maybe a first aid kit for yourself, but also some important factors that add onto this list, aside from those emergency kits you already have for earthquake help, is possibly a whistle in case of an emergency. You also want to waterproof some of those documents in plastic bags or containers. Another extra step, making sure you have extra clothing from areas that are inundated with water. You want to have those extra blankets, clothing, anything protective to wear. And another one on that list includes some cash on hand in case of emergency situations with power outages.
Apply to the megastorm as much as it would apply to an earthquake or a wildfire. Have an escape plan and a place to meet.
Now it's a race against time for our infrastructure to meet the rate of climate change due to our warming planet. Being prepared is our best chance at protecting our communities.
And Carly is with us now. I mean, we really just saw a sliver of the kind of damage we could see if there was major flooding. Right. What have we noticed that homeowners really need to watch out for after the storms that we just saw?
I mean, we just saw it all when we saw all of the winds pushing everything, because these storms are one after the other. So the inundation of the water in the soil has caused a lot of those trees to start bending and shifting. So when they fall into your homes, people don't think of it like that. They just think, oh, well, I'm far from a levee, it's not going to affect me. But your tree fell because of the water. And then you have to think of the levees. A lot of areas that do have levees surrounding them, it may be a false sense of security. So they're easily able to fall and break apart, as we've seen for a lot of areas, and it's a big concern.
Yeah, and we know that President Biden, he was just in Northern California visiting all of that damage. What is the importance of the state really securing that federal disaster declaration?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's very important. I mean, when you heard about the insurance, you can get private insurance, you can get flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Policy and Program, but it's when it's declared a national emergency or a federal emergency, you can start applying for additional funds that would cover you beyond what you already have. So those are important for a lot of places, like hurricane-prone places, when they get those national disasters declared.
All right, Carly, thank you. And if you did miss any of our 4-part Mega Flood series, you can watch it all on abc10.com/tothepoint. All you have to do is just look for Mega Flood, and it's on our streaming services like ABC 10 Plus too.